Okay. So, verse number 9 was talking about the hierarchy of different places. Verse number 10 was talking about the hierarchy of different devotees and living entities coming to Srimati Radharani. And then this verse is talking about how those who are on the highest level, how they go to the highest place, and how they render devotional service. So this is that verse. This is talking about that. Okay, so we'll read the Sanskrit. Krishnasya uchcheya pranaya vasati preyasibhyopi radha kundam chasya munibhir abhitastadrig eva vyadhai yat preshtherapi alam asulabham kim punar bhakti bhajam tat premedam sakridapi sarasnatur avishkaroti. Okay, so of the many objects of favored delight and of all the lovable damsels of Rajbhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love. And in every respect, her divine Kund is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radha Kund is very rarely attained even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. Okay, so when we go to Radha Kund is in Vrindavan, like that. So if you go to Radha Kund, you can take a bath if it's possible for you. And this verse is saying that if you take bath in Radha Kund, then your pure love for Krishna, even once if you take bath, pure love for Krishna is fully aroused. So anybody went to Radha Kund and took a bath?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
But I don't know if the love is awakened. I don't.
Pure love of Krishna is awakened or not? You don't know. You have so much love for Krishna, right?
I
And,
doubt it, Prabhu. That
and
was my question. That how do we tell if the love is awakened? If the pure love for Krishna is awakened, because so many material desires still there,
hmm,
lack
yeah,
of taste in chanting, lack of taste in doing devotional service.
yeah. So how do we know pure love for Krishna is awakened? What is the symptoms? Like they say, how do you know you have COVID? What are the symptoms of COVID? Tastelessness, right? You lose your taste then.
In COVID, there are different people experience different, so you
So
cannot.
what are the basically he's asking what are the symptoms of love of God? How do we know that we have got love of God? Hmm? Karuna was saying something.
We need to serve, like whenever there is love, there is a kind of serve with that love. So if you have love, then we need to serve. We feel like serving.
Service. Okay. So that is one way you can say you feel like serving whoever you love, you feel like serving them. So
Feel
that
like remembering them always, so we don't want to get away from them, so we need to remember, even in like material relationships also, when we love someone, so we always think of them, so we always wanted to be with them.
hmm.
So
So,
say
yeah. So Alangar Prabhu, you experience those kind of things. You always want to be with Krishna, always remember Krishna.
No, Prabhuji.
So you have to take another bath in the Radha Kund. You have to again take a bath in Radha Kund. So Anyway, here it says, if once one simply bathes once within. But it doesn't say when the pure love of Krishna is full. Is it immediately, or will it take some time? That means you may be, like one time Prabhupada was asked, how many pure devotees are in the movement? Like in ISKCON, how many pure devotees are there? He says all of them. All of them? All of them are pure devotees. How all of them are pure devotees? What did Prabhupada say? Does anybody know?
I mean, those who have taken the shelter of Krishna is all because they are on the path of pure devotion, right?
Hmm.
So sooner or later, one has to be purified. I mean, I don't know the exact answer what he said, but
So he said, yes, just like a green mango will become ripe in due course of time. So similarly, um, all the devotees eventually will become pure devotees. Doesn't it say that everybody will go back home, back to God? Eventually, everybody will go back home. Now it's a question of time. So it's also not just taking bath, but we say in what consciousness we take bath, right? That is also very important. Uh, so like we say chanting the holy name, but then there in chanting also you have different levels of chanting, right? Pure chanting and chanting with material desires and so many things. So that is different. Although it doesn't say like that, it just says if you take bath once, then you get pure love. So eventually, if we want it, to the degree we want it and we take bath, also it will work more. That's my interpretation, that it works more if you want it very badly also. And then because it is said like that, so you'll get. Krishna is like a desired tree, right? So whatever you want, Krishna is giving you. Correct? We say we can do nothing but desire. We can only desire. And the intensity of your desire, like sometimes we say, I want to become pure devotee. Yes, but how intensely you desire to become pure devotee, that is also there. So, okay, we have discussed this before. So why is Radha Kund so exalted? The lake is so exalted because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is the most beloved object of Sri Krishna. So she was bathing in that lake, Radharani. There were many things that happened on the bank of Radha Kund. Ras Leela also happened on the bank of Radha Kund. So anything related to a great devotee, like we have Prabhupada's, somebody in Alachua one time they showed me the what do you call the bag, not the bag, but it was a tin box in which Prabhupada brought his Bhagavatams. And everybody, when they brought it out, everybody was touching it and they were like bowing down to it and they were offering respects to it. So anything that is related to a pure devotee is also very sacred, like Prabhupada's shawl, Prabhupada's shoes, anything that is used by a pure devotee. That is called, what is it called? Sometimes it is called in Sanskrit, what is it called? It is called tadiya. Tadiya means the paraphernalia. So, like we have this verse, Aradhna Nam Sarvesham, Vishnu Aradhnam Param. Lord Shiva is telling this verse to Parvati, that of all kinds of worship, Vishnu worship is the best. But better than worship of Vishnu is the worship of his devotee. It says, Aradhanam Sarvesham, Vishnu Aradhanam Param. Tasmat Parataram Devi. Parataram means superior to that. Tadyanam Samarchanam. Archanam means worshipping of the Tadya. Tadya means the pure devotees are considered the Tadya of the Lord. So that's how it's translated. But Tadya can mean also any paraphernalia.
one of the offense also, right? Krishna Tadya, the offense to devotees, Vaishnava Prad.
Offense. Yes. Yeah. So Tadiya means the devotees. And it can mean also the paraphernalia. So, I mean, we may think that Radha Kund is just some water, right? It is some water, and we don't know if this water is there from the time Radharani used to take her bath, which is not obviously true, right? This water that is there in that lake is not the same water that when Radharani used to take bath. But it's the same place. You can say it's the same place. And so how can it be effective? Sometimes all these questions may come to mind. And the water is dirty, right? Because it has not been, it is standing water and it's not moving. So sometimes you may feel a little bit reluctant to take. But you can also take some drops, and like we go to so many kunds in Vrindavan, and then sometimes you see the water has algae in it, like the green substance is there, and then you may not feel like, so we just take some drops and put it on our head like that. So you can do that also. Uh, so any other thought, Alankar Prabhu?
Yeah, that is true. So is this what Rupa Goswami is saying, that is like in just I mean, not like back in the days, when Radharani and at that time it would be potent and not anymore.
No, it is not. We should not think like that. Then now Radha Kund, the water has changed and it is not the same water. They emptied Radha Kund in 1989 or something. They emptied the whole thing.
So like that, everything about Vrindavan, all the different dhams can be said, right?
Yeah, many things. They say everything changes in the dham, but the soil, the Raj remains the same. Sometimes they say like that. And there are some pastime places which are still the same. They have not changed. Of course, we don't know the history. It's 5,000 years back. Can you imagine? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 5,000 years back when Krishna was present on this planet. We're going back 50 centuries. So, but Raghunath Das Goswami, he actually kind of developed Radha Kund and he was 500 years back. So Radha Kund has been in that place since the time of the Goswamis. And before that, there was no Radha Kund. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, he could not even find. In Paddy Field, he found two little ponds. And then, yeah, he revealed that this is actually Radha Kund, this is Shyam Kund. And then it was developed like that. But it is more also the consciousness in which we approach, right? So, okay. So sometimes we may think like that, and we may also doubt that, okay, it says if one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. But it has not happened to me, right? I still have anarthas, lust, anger, greed. So is this statement true or not? That's the question that may come when we read this. Is this true? So we can say, yes, it is true, because we can't contradict the Shastra. This is Shastra. And if we start doubting Shastra, then also it is true. Then why it has not happened? Why one's pure love of Krishna is not aroused? Then how do we reconcile? If it's true, it has to happen. So maybe it's a matter of time. We can say like that. Because it doesn't say about the time here. So we can say that immediately or after some time, maybe, but eventually. So that's how I understand. How would you understand otherwise this statement? Any other explanation you have?
I mean, it is same like we say that one holy name, if we chant, it will like remove all the sinful reactions of various past lives. So does that mean that you just chant one time and that done? Why do you chant every day, 2 hours, 4 hours? So because we are not in that purified state, it does not mean that that statement is wrong, or acharyas or scriptures are wrong. Our consciousness is not on that state that one nam is just enough to fulfill everything, like clear all the past life. So similarly, like, if you bathe in that consciousness, if you are fully and completely surrender, that I am completely surrender, and in that mood, if we just not in the bodily consciousness, not on like, I don't have any material desires, I'm just completely surrender, I'm the part and parcel of the Lord. If someone does in that mood and bath in the holy river, full faith that if I just take a bath and I will get a pure love, and then they will get it.
Yes, so
And that's my understanding is.
consciousness in which we chant the holy name. But they say there's a verse like that. Sanketyam parihasyam va stobhanam helanam eva va vaikuntha nama grahanam ashesha agam haram vidu. This is also Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam. It says if one chants the holy name, one who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly to indicate something. Oh, they are the Hare Krishnas. The Hare Krishnas are doing their kirtan. These Hare Krishnas are nonsense. They are disturbing everywhere. Maybe that way, jokingly, if you chant Hare Krishna, or for musical entertainment, it's nice. So you chant, or even neglectfully. So it says, is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins. This is accepted by all the learned scholars of the script. So another thing is how much faith we have in that statement. To that degree, that will work also. Right? So if you keep faith in that statement, how much faith we have in with what faith we do, and so that will also, because advancement in Krishna consciousness means advancement of faith, right? So pure devotee has complete faith. So with that if I surrender to Krishna, my life is perfect. In fact, that is the definition of faith. श्रद्धा शब्दे विश्वास को है, सुदृढ़ निश्चय, कृष्ण भक्ति कोयले सर्व कर्म कृत होय. This is quoted in Madhya Leela. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas ko hai. So it says, by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith, favorable to discharge of devotional service, is called Shraddha. So, Shraddha, we think faith, but this faith is unshakable, confident, firm faith. That so like that. The more faith we have, the more faith with we chant. But faith, you cannot, I mean, how can you measure how much faith you have? Yeah, means we have some faith. Prabhupada also has faith, but Prabhupada's faith and our faith is not the same. So that is the difference. What do you say? We are chanting Hare Krishna. Narad Muni is also chanting Hare Krishna. There is a difference. So that way we can understand this, I think. To the degree we have faith, and it may happen in due course of time. So among all the gopis, she is the most beloved. Similarly, her lake, Sri Radha Kund, is also described by great sages as the lake that is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself. Indeed, Krishna's love for Radha Kund and for Srimati Radharani is the same in all respects. Radha Kund is very rarely attained, even by great personalities, fully engaged in devotional service, not to speak of ordinary devotees who are only engaged in the practice of Vaidhi Bhakti. So to go to Vrindavan, they say you need to have permission of Radharani, Vrinda Devi, so many different. Or, I mean, so many people are coming from Delhi to Vrindavan, right? Every day there are so many visitors coming. But if you don't approach the dham in the right mood, with a seva bhav, then the dham will not reveal So you may come there, but you will not get the purification of heart. Because so many people are living in Vrindavan. Uh, Obviously, it's a purifying place, but until you come with the right attitude, what did Prabhupada say? The advancement in Krishna consciousness. Let's ask Vaishali. Advancement in Krishna consciousness
Depends on the attitude of the devotee.
depends on the attitude of the follower, devotee.
Follower, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So everything depends on attitude. So if you approach the dham, you chant the holy name, and yeah. It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of gopis. If he once, Prabhupada is saying at once, will at once, if he once takes a bath in Radha Kund, that gives even more thing for us to think about. Srila Rupa Goswami recommends that even if one cannot live permanently on the banks of Radha Kund, he should at least take a bath in the lake as many times as possible. This is the most important item in the execution of devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in this connection that Sri Radha Kund is the most select place for those interested in advancing their devotional service in the wake of the lady friends, sakhis, and confidential serving maids, manjaris, of Srimati Radharani. Living entities who are eager to return home to the transcendental kingdom of God, Golok Vrindavan, by means of attaining their spiritual bodies, Siddha Deha, should live at Radha Kund, take shelter of the confidential serving maids of Sri Radha, and under the direction, engage constantly in her service. So we have to find, not only live at Radha Kund, but we have to find some devotee who is in this devotional attitude of service to Radharani, and you have to, under their direction, constantly engage in service. This is the most exalted method for those engaged in devotional service under the protection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that even great sages and great devotees like Narada and Sanaka do not get an opportunity to come to Radha Kund to take their baths. So it is durlabh. What then to speak of ordinary devotees? If by great fortune one gets an opportunity to come to Radha Kund and bathe even once, he can develop his transcendental love for Krishna, exactly as the gopis did. It is also recommended that one should live on the banks of Radha Kund and should be absorbed in the loving service of the Lord. One should bathe there regularly and give up all material conceptions, taking shelter of Sri Radha and her assistant gopis. If one is thus constantly engaged during his lifetime, after giving up the body, he will return back to Godhead. So now Prabhupada is saying constantly engaged during his lifetime, means it's not like one time. Then, after giving up the body, he will return back to Godhead to serve Sri Radha in the same way as he contemplated during his life on the banks of Radha Kund. So however you want to serve, in whichever bhav you want to serve, you will get that position, same. The conclusion is that to live on the banks of Radha Kund and to bathe there daily constitute the highest perfection of devotional service. It is a difficult position to attain, even for great sages and devotees like Narada. Thus, there is no limit to the glory of Sri Radha Kund. By serving Radha Kund, one can get the opportunity to become an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis. So what did Prabhupada say about Radha Kund? Bathing in the Radha Kund, let's see. Because one time when all the Western disciples went there of Prabhupada, then at that time they were like swimming and they were doing like fun activities, like as if it was a sporting thing. And then Prabhupada immediately checked them. So no, this has to be approached with reverence. One should not just... So there is bathing in Radha Kund. This is from Hari Sauri Prabhu's diary. As he left the roof, Prabhupada cautioned us once more about Radha Kund. He said we should not bathe in Radha Kund, but we should simply touch the water to our heads. He said that unless one is very respectful to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, they cannot bathe there. It is only for very advanced souls. Who did not climb on Govardhan Hill?
Some
Chaitanya
Goswami.
Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
No, one Goswami, I guess.
Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not climb on Govardhan Hill. Why? Because it is Krishna's body. Govardhan is not different from Krishna, so he was thinking. So in that mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, devotees of ISKCON, they also don't climb on Govardhan Hill because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't do it. Vrajvasis, they go. There is a temple on the top. They go, but devotees don't do it. ISKCON devotees. So here sometimes he says like this. There may be other places where Prabhupada talks about Radha Kund, whether bathing in Radha Kund is permitted or not. Although in his books, whatever he said, that is holds more importance than anything else. But here, this is by Hariswari Prabhu, who was the personal servant of Srila Prabhupada. So he is saying like that. And we have to understand the context, why he said like that or not.
Quick question, Prabhuji. The Hari Sorry you mentioned, we have Hari Prasad Prabhu also writes his
No,
commentary.
uh,
Who is that? If you can just give a insight, and in Parampara, where does he fall?
so this is Hari Sauri, like
Yeah.
I think that was a devotee by the name Hari Suri.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Sauri or Suri, but
Mm-hmm.
he was a devotee in Maharashtra. And he has given a commentary on the Bhagavatam 10th canto. And he has, like in Damodar Lila, we say, why the milk was boiling. And we get the answer that the milk was thinking, right? Oh, that if Krishna,
Commit suicide, right?
yeah, I will commit suicide. Why? Because if Krishna drinks all the milk of Mother Yashoda, then what is our use? There is no use to my life. This comment came from Hari Suri's commentary. Because you will not find it in the Bhagavatam, but there is Hari Suri has a Bhakti Rasayan. So he has mentioned all this, many different, which Radha Govind Maharaj used to quote. I I think in
Okay,
the,
Prabhuji. Yeah, not to distract you, but just thought to check, in case. Thank you.
so that's Hari Suri, but there's also a day in the life of Hari Suri. You can read that, how he had personal darshan of Krishna and how he got that. So okay, so I'll see if I can find more about Radha Kund. Um, but we can read about, since in the previous verse it was mentioned that one should meditate on the Ashtakalya Leela. Like, who then will not recite at Radha Kund and in spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, render loving service to the divine couple, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Ashtakalya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. So, what is that Ashtakalya Leela? And we will see. 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. I should have made it ready, but what happens Ashtakalya Leela is This is for Mahaprabhu Ashtakalya Leela. There is one Mahaprabhu. Let me see. I'm looking at this book. This is the book Art of Chanting Hare Krishna. So Ashta means 8. So there are different, the whole day is divided into 8 divisions. We have 3:36 to 6 a.m. Then we have 6 a.m. to 8:36. Then we have 8:36 to 10:48. It's about how much? 2 hours and 12 minutes. But this is 2 hours 36 minutes. Then we have, different 10:48 to 3:36, like that. So let's read some of the things. What happens at 6 a.m., 6 to 8:36? This is in the spiritual world, and here also it's like this is a replica. So Govind Lilamrita states, I take shelter of Srimati Radharani. After finishing her ablutions and ornamenting her body, Radharani receives Mother Yashoda's request to cook Krishna's breakfast. So Radharani receives the request. She goes every day to cook breakfast for Krishna. Why? Let's ask Madan Mohini Mataji. Why Radharani is cooking breakfast? Why Yashoda is cooking breakfast for Radharani? Is inviting Radharani to cook breakfast for Krishna?
Because Radharani is the one of the best cook.
So obviously Krishna wants to eat the nicest
Yeah,
food.
yeah, Krishna wants to. And I think I heard that his longevity also increases when she cooks, is something like that. I don't know. Forget
Yeah,
it.
correct. Yeah, because she had a blessing from Durvasa.
She had some blessing from
Durvasa.
say,
Durvasa Muni, because she one time pleased Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni gave the blessing that whatever you cook will be very delicious, and whoever eats your cooked food cooked by you will become very strong and will have long life.
yeah, so she wants Krishna to have a long life and healthy, so she wants Radharani to cook food for him.
Yes. So that is when every day she goes, and Jatila and Kutila, they try to stop her. There's another pastime, the snake pastime, in which they try to stop her. But anyway, so that's the time when Radharani goes. She receives Yashoda's request to cook Krishna's breakfast. Radha and her girlfriends, so not only her, but other gopis, and then go to Nandagram to prepare varieties of delicious foodstuffs for Krishna. Afterwards, Radharani, so this happens in this time. Radharani joyfully takes Krishna's remnants. Often during this time, Radha meets Krishna at Gupta Kund or in the caves of Nandagram. I also take shelter of Krishna. After awakening from his bed early in the morning, Krishna walks to the Goshala to milk the cows. So he goes to milk the cows. Then Krishna returns home, takes bath, and enjoys his meal in the company of his cowherd friends. Overwhelmed with love, chant the holy name in the association of devotees while remembering this pastime in the morning. So according to the time of the day, you can remember, oh, this is the time, 6 to 8:36. Krishna is going, he's milking the cows, is coming back, and then he's enjoying his meals with his friends. And Radharani is getting ready to go to. So like that, there are different leelas. So we'll read one more. Then what happens from 8:36 to 10:48. So this is called Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya Anartha Nivritti. I don't know what is, we'll see. And this is called Nishta. This is Pratah Leela Smaran and this is Purvahana Leela Smaran. Why we are discussing this? Because the Ashtakalya Leela was, it said one should meditate on this Ashtakalya Leela. The spiritual with the rendered loving who perform their Ashtakalya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. So in the translation is there, so it's not out of syllabus. The times. Alankar Prabhu, right? It is in syllabus because it's mentioned in the
Yes,
translation.
yes, Prabhuji. Very relevant.
Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to remember this pastime. It means you can remember anything about Krishna, that's fine. But yeah, we can remember also. One should remember and you can remember this anytime because Krishna's Leela is eternally going on. So there is Purvahana Leela Smaran. One should remember the Purvahan Leela for pastime while chanting. Govinda Leela Mitra, I remember Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends who in the forenoon follows the cow into the forest. So now Krishna has to go into the forest. There is a day in Kartik when Krishna herds the cows. What is that day called? Let's ask somebody. Usha Surendran Mataji. What is the day when Krishna starts herding the cows in the forest? In Kartik. Kartik month is coming up.
I'm not sure. Damodar?
Yeah, it is the. Who else wants to say?
Go past me.
Go past me. Yeah, that's what.
Gopashtami. Gopashtami is a day in Kartik. It's a festival because now Krishna has gotten a promotion that he has to now from small cows he's going to take care of big cows. And there are many reasons why that is described. He also, just like you want to be promoted in your job, Krishna also wants to get promoted. And the cows also want Krishna's association. And Krishna wants to go deep in the forest. Why he wants to go deep in the forest? Because there are also trees there. Earlier, Krishna in Nanda Bhavan, he would just graze cows in the vicinity. And Yashoda, if you went to Nandagaon, you will see that place. It's on the hill. And when Yashoda would come up and go to the terrace and see, oh, Krishna is there, he's grazing the cows. And she would feel very happy. Then she would go. But now Krishna is going to go into the forest, deep inside the forest. She can't see Krishna. And Yashoda is always very worried. What will happen to my child? There are so many wild animals, there's so many thorns, something danger will come. So there is a nice description in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, if you read, how Yashoda feels when Krishna is going into the forest. She will tell Balram so many times, do this, protect your brother from this. He doesn't know. He will climb on a tree and he will go into a lake. He will drown himself. We'll read that also. It's very nice meditation, how Yashoda feels anxiety for Krishna. So if you want to serve Krishna in the Vatsalya Ras, Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavatam that you should meditate on the pastimes of Yashoda with Krishna, especially because you feel motherly affection for Krishna, then you should meditate on the Vatsalya, how Yashoda is relating with Krishna. Of course, we don't, Prabhupada didn't say like that, gopi, because, oh, I feel like a gopi, then I should behave like a gopi to Krishna or something then. Because in earlier days, they started this Gopi Bhav Club, right? Where people were thinking, I'm a gopi and I will act like a gopi. But that has to come with purification of heart also. It is not like prematurely we say, I'm like a gopi, now I'll behave like a gopi. And so that can also become a sahajya kind of tendency. But in our heart, we can remember however we want to relate to Krishna as a friend. Some devotees are very attracted to friendly pastimes of Krishna. Like they like to joke with Krishna, they like to see Krishna as their friend. So we can see how Krishna relates with Madhumangal and Stoka Krishna and so many Sridama and what games they play and like that, all the jokes they do, how they tease Krishna. So that was also a meditation. So whatever you are attracted to, you can meditate on. Okay, so here it says in the forenoon. So why Krishna is going to the forest? Because he wants to give association to the trees and all the animals in the forest. And Krishna is going to kill demons. Krishna knows that. And if he is on the outskirts where Yashoda can see, she will be in anxiety. Oh, this demon has come to kill Krishna. What's going on? But in the deep forest, she doesn't have access to that. So Krishna is going to. So many reasons are there like that. We'll not go into that. I remember Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends who in the forenoon follow the cows into the forest. Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda and other Vrajvasis follow Krishna and his friends. So They all follow Krishna. Being anxious to meet Radharani, Krishna leaves the cowherd boys and cows at Govardhan and comes to the bank of Radhakund. So even in the middle of the day, he meets Radharani. And that is described here. He leaves behind his cowherd friends. And I also remember Radhika, who returns home from Nandagram after receiving Krishna's sidelong glance, indicating their imminent meeting place. Her mother-in-law, Jatila, orders her to worship Suryadev. With great eagerness, Radhika looks down the pathway by which her Sakhis will return with information about Krishna's whereabouts. So on the pretext of worshipping Suryadev, she goes and she meets Krishna in the forest, like that. So these are some of the Leelas. This is not like a PDF. This is a Kindle version of Art of Chanting Hare Krishna, but there may be a PDF. So it's Art of Chanting Hare Krishna. I think Vaishali was asking to get a PDF. So
Prabhuji, why is it called Ashtakalya Leela? Is there any significance of 8?
that I don't know why it says 8. Yeah, that's.
Is it the same Leela, right? Krishna, subduing Kali is the same Leela, correct?
No, this is not that Kaliya, Ashtakaliya, it says like that, but I think it's related to time.
Is it 8 divisions of the day?
Yeah, 8 divisions. But why is saying why only 8 divisions? Why not 10 divisions? Why not 12 divisions?
No, actually, I was saying why. I thought it is the Kalya, when you said, I was trying to relate to the
It's not that
pastime of Kalya.
Ashtakaliya Leela. So I think it has something to do with time.
Okay, okay. Kal, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe, Alankar Prabhu is saying day divided into 8 parts.
Okay, so maybe we will see if somebody like to recite some verses, or I think Alankar Prabhu and some of you already sent me the verses. But please send me all those verses. If you especially you are enrolled in the not the listeners group, but in the then one verse you can do per week. And if you need any help, then let me know and I can help you out with the memorization. But this is part of the course, so we have to do it. And okay. We can read one more. Madhyana Leela Smaran. So that's 10:48 to 3:36. So it's like past noon. I remember Radha Krishna enjoying each other's company at midday. They are decorated with different ecstatic symptoms, such as Ashta Sattvic and Vyabhichari bhavs. Their eyes show symptoms of opposition and then eagerness as they become unsteady in their loving affairs. They enjoy the jokes of Lalita and other Sakhis. Surrounded by the Sakhis, Radha Krishna relish various pastimes, such as the swinging, roaming in the forest, playing in the water, stealing Krishna's flute, drinking honey, enjoying amorous affairs, and worshipping the sun god. In this way, I meditate on Radha Krishna, being served on all sides by their Sakhis. So, okay. So, we can revise verse number 2, since we have some time. I didn't read it, so read it before. We will go to verse number 2 and
If anybody wants to recite words, then still need to send the recording
recite the verse. You can,
on the call.
yeah, because I was thinking it'll take a lot of time if everybody recites 4 verses. Then we will have to put one class simply for recitation of the. But we can, yeah, if somebody wants to recite, then.
I mean, 2 verses, I can recite if you.
Okay, go ahead.
वाचोवेगं मनसा क्रोधवेगं जिह्वावेगं उदरपस्थवेगं एतान् वेगान् यो विषहेत धीरा सर्वामपि मां पृथ्वीं स शिष्यात्. So vacho begam, urge of speaking, manasa, mind, vacho begam, manasa, krodh begam, anger, vacho begam, manasa, krodh begam, jivya, tongue, urge of tongue, and udar like belly and genital. So these 6 words, if one can control these 6 words, is able to make a disciple all over the world. And next one is
And what does Vegam mean? Vegam means
Arj.
courage. And I asked Alankar Prabhu yesterday the thing. What is the word for tolerate?
Vishahet Dheer.
Which one? Dhira or Vishahet?
Vishahet.
Vishahet. And sober means
Dhira.
Dhira. Okay, go to the next verse if you want to recite.
Yeah. Atyahara prayashascha prajalpa niyamagraha jansankyascha laulyam cha sadvir bhakti vinashyati. So those who are entangled in these six activities, so what are the activities?
In what? Those who are entangled in this, then what? What about this?
Yeah, it's the six activities is atyahara, means over endeavoring of achieving mundane things, and prayasas. Atyahara means accumulation of uh, worldly things, stuff, right? And prayasas
There
is
are two meanings. Ahar means eating, so eating more than necessary or collecting more than necessary. Both ways, yeah.
and atyahara prayasas means over endeavoring for
Hmm.
mundane things which is hard to achieve. And atyahara prayasas, prajalpa, talking about materialistic topics, worldly things, worldly affairs. Atyahara prayasas prajalpa niyamagraha means following the principles for the sake of following it or reject it.
Which one is which one?
So niyamagraha. Agraha means eagerness to accept, and agraha means failure to accept. And okay, so prajalpa nemagraha and jansangas, so association with worldly minded people. And lolyam is greed to achieve mundane things.
So, okay, these are what?
These are the activities. If one entangle oneself, their devotional process will spoiled.
Okay, so let me ask on a practical level, Alankar Prabhu, since I'm seeing you on the camera, the others have not. So, what would you say is prayas? How would you, in our own life, how would we say that prayas is, it's prayasasya, right? Atyahara prayasasya is happening.
Over endeavoring.
Yeah, so can you suggest?
Yeah, I mean, you are saying that how we are doing over
How we
endeavoring.
can indulge in this prayer? How we can, yeah. What
Yeah.
is, when do we know we are over endeavoring?
When our sadhana is compromised,
Mhm.
and when things are necessary, the necessities are already made. We already have the necessities satisfied, but still, if we are trying to over extravagate our lifestyle, our for example, work, like, okay, everything is good, but now I want to become the more CEO, CIO, and I will do all the other, which is not required. Maybe it is required in some professions, I don't know. But if things can work. And another example, we have a car. So, okay, one car can take you from one place to another. That's the goal. But if somebody say, no, no, I only want Mercedes or Tesla, maybe Model X, expensive ones. So now for that we have to work to now, house also same thing. Our house is 1 2 bedroom, 3 bedrooms sufficient, 4 bedrooms maybe a stretch, but now I want a swimming pool. So all these extra things that we want to acquire, for what? Not for the service of the Lord.
But somebody may say, well, I can use it in this, if I can get more money, then I can influence more people if I become CEO of the company, or I'll get more money and our temple needs money, so I'm doing it for service. But you already said that that is not when we actually are negligent on our sadhana, right?
On our, yeah, compromising our sadhana.
On our sadhana. So that way. So how much is enough? That is sometimes very difficult to say. How much enough is enough, right? And how much more we should do.
So Prabhupada also says, right, simple living, high thinking. So uh, sky is the limit, but if we know that, okay, if we know the goal, and if we have this one lifetime, how much time we want to spend on our wants.
Yeah.
I think in purport of Nectar of Instruction, second verse, Prabhupada writes that if your endeavor is not to know about the Lord, the absolute truth, so what is the use of it? Simply increases our sense gratification. Like, let's say, Alankar Prabhu is telling that, of course, we think like that. We can be satisfied with many other brand of the car, a simple, not the Tesla. So we do the same thing. So, but for the Tesla, we need to do more work, accumulate more money, right? So we do hard work. We spend our time in unnecessarily collecting more money. Instead, we can use that time and inquire about the absolute truth, the human form of life you have got to know about the Lord, to know your relationship with the Lord. Athato Brahma Jigyasa, right?
Yeah, so we have to examine our life and see what our needs are and how much we want to. Of course, there is also the saving aspect, right? Because sometimes people say, if I earn more, I can retire quickly. Then I will devote my time to Krishna. So right now, let me work. Then when I become older, I will have enough money and then I will not have to work. Then I can retire quickly and then I can devote more time to Krishna. That is also some devotees say.
Yeah, but again, that also is not prayas, right? Because the goal is to still
Yeah.
and some
So
devotees also work overtime.
there is always a thing between, okay, let's say we have a temple coming up, right? And you have certain, I'm just talking practically, you have certain savings with you in your bank. Now, should you give that savings, should you save that for your retirement? And so that you don't have to work, like, and you can devote more time, and or should you right now, because the temple is constructing, should you give that money to Krishna and have little money in the bank? So what would determine that? Like how much? Of course, we say the formula is 50%, 25%, 25%, like that. But because what should we do in that situation? Should we give? Like some devotees here, and they are giving so much.
So yeah, Prabhu. So the highest is, yes, give all of it, because Atma Nivedanam, yeah, that's the stage that shows that, okay, fully surrender. But if we hold, that is not like, I'm not saying that it's bad. But again, if somebody says, no, I will give 50%, I'll keep something for savings for later, that is also okay. Again, based on, it's not like I'm driving my own vehicle. I have other people also in this vehicle. I have family, kids. So I should not hamper their lives. I should not, my kid should not say in future that you didn't give me anything. So all the needs are satisfied there, all the duties are fulfilled. And then, yes.
But then you have, I have to save for my child's college, my child's education. So I should, so it like everything piles up, right? Everything. And then you say, oh, I have to save for retirement. And at the end of it, you don't have any money to give also, because depending on your salary and all, so many other factors are there. How much your expenses are, what kind of lifestyle you're living, everything. So yeah, everybody has to decide for themselves and see what is the degree of one's level of renunciation, how much they are wanting to sacrifice, and Yeah, and there is a future plan also, because you want to maybe stop working at a certain age. So if you have enough money, then you don't have to, you can give that time to Krishna and get more donations from people by preaching like that. So that is also there. Okay, can you give example of niyama agraha? How you can avoid niyama agraha in your life? The long A. What would be a good example for that? Where you would add.
So,
Hi.
okay, go ahead, Mataji. Go ahead.
And maybe let's hear from Karuna. I just picked up randomly. Niyama agraha, how will you avoid that in your life? Because this is detrimental for you. With the long A. You first know what it means, niyam agraha and the long A. I'm not hearing anything. I think you're on mute.
Following rules and regulations for the sake of just following.
So how would you avoid that in your life?
By knowing the effects of following the rules and regulations, Prabhuji, and by knowing what are the like uh, results that I have to experience if I don't follow the rules and regulations. So by knowing that, we can be little bit alert to follow the rules and regulations. It's just like traffic rules and regulations. So if we overspeed, we have to pay some penalty. So based on that, in the same way, um,
So it
if you
means
know that.
you're following the rules and regulations, but what is happening?
Maybe one example.
Go ahead.
So, like wearing a tilak, sometime I wear a tilak. I know what is kind of meaning of tilak is Vaishnava's etiquette, but then my heart is not with the tilak, but because I'm going to temple, I'm wearing tilak. So it's like not inside my heart is not with the tilak and everything, but because I'm going to temple to show that I'm Vaishnava,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're wearing kanthi mala and tilak and like that you're saying,
Right.
but
But
as
other places
traditional
when I go
dress.
wear tilak, so what is like it's kind of ritual,
But your heart is not in that kind of stuff.
That right, yeah. If I am very much conscious about it, I would wear it all the time, but I'm not doing it.
Okay. Sometimes jobs, yeah, you can wear tilak. Yeah, Charuta would like to say something. I think she has turned
I
up.
was wondering, Prabhu, like if let's say the rule of fasting for Ekadashi, if someone has intention other than serving Krishna, like material benefit, like health reasons, would that fall under Niyamagraha?
For health benefit, you're fasting.
Yeah, if somebody is doing that, like would that fall? Yeah.
That is, yeah, it's partially because, of course, we need good health to serve Krishna. So if you are having, what is the reason for having good health, right? That is also there. Why you want to have good health? If you want to enjoy sense gratification by having good health, then that is material thing. But if you want to have good health so that you can serve Krishna better, longer in life, then that is a spiritual thing, right? So, yeah. So what is the consciousness behind? So when we follow the rules, but we forget the why I'm doing it. And if you're fasting, let's say, but you are not able to remember Krishna because you are so tired and you're sleeping, that can also become niyamagraha, right? Then you should take some non-grain prasad and remember Krishna. There was one time in Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mutt. On Ekadashi day, he wanted somebody to go out and do Sankirtan. And then he said, no, but he's doing Nirjal Ekadashi. He's feeling very tired. So then what did Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur say? No, huh?
Eat grains.
Yeah, let him, not grains, but he says, let him take some Mahaprasad, means maybe it may be non-grain. And then let him go out, let him eat something, and then let him go out and do Sankirtan, right? So the idea is to serve Krishna. And if we or remember Krishna. But if fasting comes in between, like our remembrance of Krishna, and we fast completely, and we are all down, and just for the sake of fasting on Ekadashi, we are fasting, then we should not do that. Then we should eat something. Of course, non-grain, not grains, but that which can give us energy also. And we should engage. So that can be, yeah, that's a good example of niyama agraha. We're accepting, but forgetting the spirit why you're doing Ekadashi. So another is chanting 16 rounds, right? Every day you're chanting 16 rounds. Or we're just trying to chant, finish our round, some or other, whole day I'm moving around with the bead bag. Sometimes devotees say, you're talking to somebody and you are chanting. When they're talking, you are chanting. And when you are talking, then they are listening, they are also chanting, and then there are so many ways to chant bad japa, right? That is there. So we just somehow or other want to pull that counter to 16. So that can be a niyama agraha. It is okay. I mean, you are chanting, but if you want to get benefit, that's also okay. So like that, there are many things. Prabhupada gives the example of Vedic Brahmanas, Yagnik Brahmanas, who were doing all the rituals, but they forgot. This is to please Krishna. So that can also be. So like that. Then, what is that? Atyahara prayashasya prajalpa. Prajalpa we know is gossiping. How can we avoid gossiping? Because when devotees meet, sometimes they don't talk about Krishna, right? But how can we inspire? How can we talk related to Krishna, or how to make progress in Krishna consciousness? What would you suggest? Because we will talk so many things, other things, but of course it may be related to Krishna's service also. That's okay. But how can we not talk other things? What would you say? How do we avoid that?
I mean, one cannot completely avoid that, because if you're listening to a devotee, and if somebody is not there in a good frame of mind, or maybe something is bothering, so you are helping to hear them, and it is a service towards the devotees that you are hearing, and you are giving some advice, so that devotee can come back and get some relief, and you inspire that, how can you do that. And then that time, sometimes if I have experienced that if I have any issues, and that time whatever I have read in the scriptures, it's hard to implement maybe, but some, if I discuss with some other devotee, and she or he maybe help me to come back on that path and think in that way. And also you can, like, kind of assurance, you feel that if someone has to listen you and guide you, if you are like this type, so that is also a service you are doing towards devotees. So that is not a prajalpa, I mean, as per my understanding.
No, that comes in guhyam prichati. Revealing your mind in confidence. Like if I have some obstacle in my spiritual path, then I talk to some senior devotee, and then I reveal my mind and say, oh, this is what is bothering me. I'm not able to do this or that, or this is
But
my.
sometimes it's not just the spiritual thing, it's related to our material life also.
Material life can also impact our spiritual life. Ideally, yeah, spiritual life is independent, but let's say I've lost my job, right? And I'm all in anxiety about my job, whether I'll get a job or not. So you may talk like that, right? How to, yeah, that is there. But that is because you want to have, if you are like, very strong devotees, then material life will not affect. But if you are not that strong, then material situations like husband-wife relationship, right, that can affect. So that is there, yeah. But other than that, I was talking about, like, if we talk about politics, and if we talk about, I mean, there are so many things to talk about, right? Cinema stars. And so how do we have to be consciously avoiding, right? So another.
Sometimes Prabhupada will also speak, right? Something about an artist, some music, even moon landing and whatnot. So he would openly discuss.
Mm.
So it's also like who you are talking to. And of course, everything has the idea of ultimately connecting to Krishna.
Mm.
So even if, okay, somebody lost a job, somebody is going through some health crisis, a financial crisis, whatever crisis, so you give them, some encouragement, some support, moral support, be there for them. Otherwise, that is one thing that, I mean, is being taken, like, in consideration in devotee care teams also everywhere. That devotees sometimes they just neglect all their material situations, and they leave everything outside ISKCON. They give up their friendships, relatives, ideas. They come here, and here also there is nobody to give support on those things. So ultimately, they are like either, I don't know, hard-hearted, numb, or they're frustrated, that no, there is no help for anything. So, of course, that's why this is about relationship. So, what is your relationship with that person who you are talking to? If somebody is like super friendly, then yes, you will joke also. You will pull their legs, like, okay, this is not Vaishnava etiquette, but right?
Yeah. Yeah, so emotional well-beings of the devotees. There is a devotee care department, and we should have a devotee care department. And sometimes there are specialized people who can give counseling on marriage issues. And we had a Grihastha vision team, right? So sometimes we may not be the right person to offer help in such kind of situations where both husband and wife are devotees, and then they have issues, and then so there has to be some help. So there was a Grihastha vision team like that. So yeah,
And
and go ahead.
as you're saying, Prabhu, that you have the politics and there are so many things in the material world, devotees are saying that you need to have some information about this world because we are living in this world,
Hmm.
but not too much into it. That there is always a limitation, right?
Hmm.
There is always a limitation. So, and everybody has to, you know, it's kind of a boundary that I should know about that what is going on in this world. We
Hmm.
cannot be like unaware of all these things, but of course it's not like you are just whole day you are hearing and listening about what is Trump doing and what they doing all
What
these
is the
things.
latest going on between about the tariffs between India and US? And yeah, that of course affects us because we are, yeah, but yeah, that's so there is a boundary you can draw. And somebody said if it's very important, you will hear the news anyway. Somebody will tell you, right, that okay, this happened and that happened, and somehow or other, some devotees will tell you. So, like that. So, and then another thing is avoiding association of non-devotees, Jana Sangha. How would you, I mean, do you associate with non-devotees? And what is a non-devotee? And what do you think this means actually? Who is a non-devotee, and avoiding association with non-devotees or associating with non-devotees is unfavorable. So how do we deal with this? What do you think? As we'll ask Madan Mohini Mataji.
Oh, how to deal with non-devotee? Just talk with them about worldly things they are talking about, but then turn around that talk into Krishna consciousness. After like talking little bit, because we cannot insult anybody, so we talk with about other things and then change the topic to Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or Krishna related with that.
But it is here it's saying avoid the association, right? Jana Sangha. Jana
I
Sangha.
mean, of course, we should try not to associate with the, like, not to have a like uh, reciprocate, like we should not call them again and again. Those people, they are like, for me, before I had a friends, they are non-devotee, and now I stop talking with them, stop calling them, so they don't call me back. After some time they see that or reaction that I'm not calling them, so we can stop doing that.
Hmm.
I think, Prabhuji, it also depends on the audience that you're talking about, because if it's someone at the work environment, you cannot not speak to them. So maybe keep it at a work level. You don't get into the details of other things. But if it's a family member and if they are not into Krishna consciousness, that also makes a difference. So how do you balance that out? So I think it all depends on the audience and how you deal with it. Sometimes you can come back to talking about Krishna conscious items, but if they're not, even if there's no devotion, if let's say you're talking to an atheistic family member, trying to just come out there and talk about Krishna consciousness is not that easy, so it's how you kind of approach the subject. Maybe you don't bring it very directly to them, maybe in an indirect way. But I think it always goes back to the audience and the situation we're in when it comes to something like this.
Yeah, you have to see the practical aspect of it, and then yeah, if somebody has a wife that is not Krishna conscious, they're married, and the husband got introduced to Krishna consciousness, he has interest, but the wife doesn't have interest in Krishna consciousness, then you cannot just separate, right? Because you got married, you have children, so you can't just avoid association and separate. But see the ways, as you are saying, how to bring them to Krishna consciousness. That's one approach. Yeah, you have to see. And okay, thank you. So association also means that, yeah, at work also we associate, but when is real association happens? When their desires become our desires. When non-devotees' desires become our desires. At work, it's just related to work we are dealing with. But now if they say, okay, now we will do this something, let's go to the bar and drink. Like it's what do they call, happy hour or something. So oh, it's Friday, now let's go and so then you can say no, because you don't want their desires to influence your desires. That is, association means transmission of desires. So your desires are coming into is becoming my desire, and I'm getting affected by it. So they say we can give association.
Give association, not take the association.
Not take the association. So we can give association, but not take the association. That means we have to give our desires to them, which are Krishna conscious desires to them, but don't take their desires, and so like that also we can avoid. But at the same time, you don't have to hate anybody, because everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. But it's just that, I have to do my, if I want to be a good student, then I have to associate with good students. Those who are not interested in studying, if I associate with them, I may lose my desire to study nicely. So that is why where we have to be careful. That's why it is saying Jana Sangha. So like that, there are different.
Prabhu is like give association and not to take association. I heard in a lecture that uh, we avoid the materialistic parties, and instead we can invite them for like a Janmashtami, Balram Jayanti celebration to the temple. So after some time they will like either they will come to Krishna consciousness, or they will stop calling us for the parties.
Yes. Yeah, like when when I was going to the office, and then they would tell me, come for, and when I was a newer employee in one company, they would tell me, okay, please come today, we have this lunch, this thing going on, we have a free ticket to that. And then I was not responding. Then after some time, they stopped asking me because they knew that this person is not eating outside or something like that. Then they will stop bothering you after some time. So yeah, there is one story that one man had a company, and everybody was coming and they were all wearing tilak, right? And then one day what happened, the company owner changed. The employees remained the same, but the company owner became a Muslim. So he said, now, from tomorrow, nobody should wear tilak. People were coming. So what happened after some time, the next day, everybody was afraid, yeah, we'll lose our job if we wear tilak. And then this one particular person was wearing tilak. And so this man said, okay, you can keep wearing tilak because you are, I mean, this is just a story, but because you are convinced about your thing. So you don't have to, but others, yeah, others cannot because they are afraid, but you are convinced, so you can keep wearing tilak. So when we are convinced that no, this is the right path and this is what I should do, then anybody can say whatever. Sometimes we may have to adjust. I'm not saying to maintain a relationship in our office. Sometimes we may have to, we may take some vegetarian options or something like that. But yeah, we have to be careful because otherwise we can get carried away by all these different desires of the other people around us. So, so we should always keep ourselves in association of devotees. And in this way, we can remain strong. Good sadhana, good chanting. Those who have that, we want to remain in that association. So we can be inspired. Okay, it's already like 12:20. We'll stop here. We'll continue next time. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll start with Isha Upanishad, but before we do that, we have to revise the verses. So I have to give a test on Nectar of Instruction. So we'll work on that and we'll start Isha Upanishad and then Bhagavad Gita and then Nectar of Devotion. Thank you, everyone. And those who are working on memorizing the verses, please, if you have any difficulty, you can contact me. We can see how I
So,
can.
Prabhu, all the verses we have to memorize?
First 4 verses.
Okay. Have you to send the recording?
Yeah, you can send the recording without seeing, of course.
So, Prabhu, I just recite 2. The next time I can recite 2. But
Yeah, that is also fine.
I mean, I don't need to send recording, right?
I gave you recording for 2.
Yeah, you sent already. I
2
saw.
of them, first 2. So I need to do another 2.
Yeah.
Which I need to memorize. I haven't
I don't know
done.
if Karuna Mataji sent and Janish is not part of this group. In the
I'm just listening, Prabhuji. So yeah.
And then Vaishali sent also. So, but I have to see like all the verses. I'm going to keep a spreadsheet on the attendance and the verses. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, do we need to send translation also, Prabhuji?
Yeah,
Or
you have to say the translation also. Means the meaning, it may not be exact words, but
okay,
you
okay,
have to say the translation. Yeah.
okay, 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 Prabhuji. Yeah, I thought of sending last week, Prabhuji, but last week I was little bit occupied. This Saturday we hosted program, Prabhuji. Malati Prabhu was here with us too. So it was little bit hectic. This week I will post, Prabhuji.
Yeah. No problem.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.